Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, how to access the wisdom of your higher self and trust it. I'm Lisa Limata. I'm one of the co-founders of Rise Leadership Circle, where our mission is to expand you into owning your personal power, your value, and your worth so that you can become well-paid and prosper. Let's go ahead and jump in. So you may or may not consider yourself intuitive. And I truly believe that this is a gift that all of us have within us. So even if you feel like you've never really tapped into this gift before, I want you to listen in because I'm going to help you tap into the voice of your higher self. And if you feel like you are intuitive, you use it all the time, this may help you really deepen into some different ways of listening to your higher self. So let's go ahead and jump in. So first off, let me just say, what is your higher self? I'm going to give you my definition so that we're speaking on the same page here today. So when I think about higher self, I think about my intuition. Sometimes I'll use the words soul voice, but for me, it really is that part of each one of us that is intrinsically connected to the divine. It is this inner wisdom that we all have access to. So regardless of what you may believe, maybe you simply believe in higher consciousness, we all have access to this inner wisdom. Maybe you've experienced it before, like if you've ever had a situation where it's like you just knew something, you don't know how you knew, you just had a feeling, you just knew, and maybe you trusted it and it worked out, or maybe you ignored it and then, you're like, oh, I should have trusted my gut instinct. That's often the way that our higher self is communicating. And I think it's really important for us to deliberately tune in and access this voice, because if we're not using this inner wisdom that we have, it's like leaving 50% of our power on the table. I truly believe that. We all have the ability to tap into this inner guidance, and it bypasses the logical brain. So a lot of times when we really get great at tapping into this voice, it will feel like your success begins to speed up because you're really not wasting time. Think about the times when you just know something, like you feel drawn towards something, but you ignore it because logic tells you otherwise. And it actually slows you down. When we start to listen to the voice of our higher self, it's like you can quantum leap into the future. So it's really important that we begin to tune in. And so the way this works is really very much like a radio signal in your car. So here's what I want you to know. Even if you feel like you're not intuitive at all, your higher self is actually communicating with you all day, every day. There is a clear signal that's coming to you all the time. However, you may not be hearing it. And the reason is because just like the radio station in your car, it depends on what frequency you are dialed into. So the voice of your higher self, or your soul self, as I sometimes say, is really dialed into a very specific frequency. And in order for you to hear that, for there to be a clear channel between you and this wise inner guidance, you have to tune in. So we have to learn how to do that, right? There's a little bit of a subtlety to that. And I feel like for so long, really for millennia, we have been taught to prioritize our logical minds, our brains. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I feel we are our most powerful when we teach our logical brain to back up the voice of this wise inner guidance that we all have. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how you can begin to tune in to that frequency, how to discover which frequency or which channel your higher self is speaking to you on, and how to sort of discover the ways that it's speaking to you. So how you experience it, because how I experience that connection with my higher self may be totally different than the way that you experience it with yours. So I'm going to help you get clear on that today. And then I'm going to leave you with a practice that you can do to receive guidance from your higher self right now. So let's just go ahead and jump in. I want to talk to you about the different ways that we receive information. You may have heard of sometimes called the clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and really clair just means clear. That's what it means. Okay, so let's just go through. There are actually 6 clairs, and I just want to go through these with you because this will help you discover sort of what frequency your higher self is communicating with you on. So number 1 is clairvoyance. Clairvoyance simply means clear seeing. So if your higher self speaks to you through clear seeing, then you likely experience like visions. Maybe you just see something in your mind's eye. It doesn't have to be like a vision, so to speak. But it's like you just see something in your mind's eye. You see a picture of something. And that may be a way that you receive this inner knowing. One way to know if this gift might be powerful for you is you may have a passion for painting or drawing like an artist, or maybe you're a photographer, like you really have an eye for beauty and art. This isn't this isn't science to say for sure this is how you receive guidance from your higher self, but it's likely that maybe this is one of the ways that your higher self is communicating with you through clear vision or clairvoyance. The second way is clairaudience, and this means clear hearing. So if you are a musician, a singer, a writer, a speaker, you may have, this may, be the powerful channel that your higher guidance is speaking to you on. But the way that this works when your higher self is speaking to you through clear hearing is this is going to, maybe you're hearing like words in your mind's ear, so to speak. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's an audible voice from somewhere outside of yourself, somewhere in the room that you're suddenly hearing this strange voice. It often sounds like it's your own voice, and it's really, you're just kind of hearing it in your head, in your mind's ear. And you may be receiving information that way. So just notice if sometimes that's the way you have information that comes in for you, and especially if you're someone who really does have an ear for things like music or writing or speaking. Okay, so the third way is clairsentience, and this just means clear feeling. So you may be really tapped into feeling energy, so to speak. This is me. I can walk into a room and read the energy of the room really instantly. I know a lot of you who follow me probably are that way as well. This is a gift often that you'll find in someone who is, let's say, an energy healer, a chiropractor, a therapist, a coach. We tend to be very tuned in to other people's feelings, very empathic, right? So sometimes you'll just get a clear feeling within you. Like you will often, for me, I'll feel an emotion within my body. I'm very sensitive to planetary energy. And so I will experience that as sometimes anxiety, but it's a different type of anxiety than when it's like a worry anxiety. I'm been doing this long enough now that I'm clear as to what I'm feeling, but I can also pick up on other people's emotions. For some of you, if your gift is strong, it could even be, maybe it's a spirit guide, or sometimes mediums can, experience feelings as a way of communication. So just notice, are you really sensitive to energy and feelings? Do you walk into a room and really have a sense of other people's emotions? This may be a way that your higher self is communicating with you when suddenly you just have a knowing, but that knowing is coming as more of like a feeling, more of an emotion, and that's the guidance for you. So that may be your gift. The fourth one is clear cognizance, and this is simply clear knowing. This can be true for anyone, but often you'll see this like spiritual teachers, intuitives, even doctors who might have this gift. Again, anyone can have it. I'm just giving some examples to help you, but you just know something, like you just know. You're like, I don't know how I know, but I just knew that. Like I knew that was going to happen. I knew I was going to run into this person today. I just received sort of this download of information. It's like, okay, this just came to me. This is what I need to do. So you may have the gift of clear knowing. So by now you may be like, yeah, this is me. For some people, they have all of them, right? These are really, if you've been practicing for a while, I've noticed for myself that as I've been really honing my intuition and my connection with my higher self, that I'm able to actually use more and more of the different ways that my higher self is communicating with me. So the last two clairs are a little bit maybe less common, but still may be very active. So one is clair, I think I'm saying this right, clairaudience, and it just means clear smelling. So I don't know if I've had this experience. I don't know if you ever have, where suddenly it's like you're smelling an aroma or an odor or something that's not actually really physically there. For example, like you're smelling cigarette smoke, or you're smelling the aroma of fresh flowers. Sometimes that can happen if you tend to be really intuitive. That could be a way that like a past loved one who's passed on has communicated with you. And so that could be a way that is developed for you. The last one is clairgustance, and that one is clear tasting. This one for me, not so much. Maybe some people have this, like if you are someone who is maybe like a baker or a chef, this could be something that is really developed for you, where it's like, you may suddenly, like, you can just taste your grandma's cookies, or this memory from the past. If there's like suddenly you can just taste something was a favorite food that your mom made from childhood. That could be a way that your higher self is communicating with you. So it's up to us to just begin to tune in to these subtle signals. So most of us are really familiar with the voice of the ego, or that voice in our head that is always communicating, right? It's like nonstop. It's kind of the loudest voice. It has a lot to say, right? We're pretty tuned into that voice. But the voice of our higher self is much more subtle, much more subtle. It kind of speaks in whispers, if you will, right? It's going to come in on a really gentle frequency. And so it's up to us to tune in to really start to see how it's communicating with us. And this can be a powerful tool when you're building your business, is to begin to trust the subtle signals. So when you need to make a decision, for example, instead of just like weighing out all the pros and cons and strictly going from logic, I invite you to tune in and just ask yourself, okay, what information am I receiving from my body? When I just take a moment and get still, you could go into a meditation. If that helps you, you could do some deep breathing. I'm going to give you another tool in a minute that you can try, and just allow yourself to take a minute where you kind of shut out all of the outside noise and tune in and listen for how your higher self might be guiding you. Now, the thing about trusting this inner wisdom is that the way that you develop trust is to trust it. And I know this might sound counterintuitive, but the more you trust it, the stronger this muscle will get. Because if you don't trust it, that means you keep pushing it aside. You keep ignoring the signals. And when that happens, it's harder to develop that frequency. So just like you would go to the gym and, you would lift weights every day and eventually your muscles are going to get stronger, the same thing's going to happen. So begin to trust what you're receiving and act on it. And that is the fastest path to really opening up that clear signal. So I want to take you through a little exercise that I love to do. This is one of my favorite ways when I need to make a decision, when I need information to tap into my higher self. And that is through a process called automatic writing. You may or may not be familiar with this. If you've never tried it, or especially if you don't consider yourself intuitive, try this. Try this because it is one of the ways for many people that we can sort of cut through the noise and get that clear connection, especially if you have a hard time meditating. This may be really helpful for you. And I invite you to try it and then take it or leave it. If it doesn't work for you, all good, right? So what you want to do to practice automatic writing is, I actually created a free guide for you as well. So you can download the free guide. So you don't have to write this all down right now. And you can actually just go through that, print it off and go through that process. But what I would do first, I would suggest that you just sort of turn off your phone, turn off screens if you can, and maybe just sit for a bit in a quiet meditation. So this can just be you and your breath. It can be you, just taking a moment, set your do not disturb on, and give yourself some time to just sit in the quiet. This allows you to sort of clear your mind. A lot of times when I first sit in meditation, and I think this is really common, it's like our brains are just like so full of chatter. And people think they're doing it wrong. It's like, I can't quiet my mind. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just breathe. Just breathe. If you've got some mind chatter, that's okay. You're not doing it wrong, especially if you're new to meditation. Just breathe. Maybe a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth until you just can kind of feel like your nervous system sort of settles. I like to imagine myself dropping into my heart. I believe that the heart is, it's that access to our soul. It's the access to the higher self. So I kind of visualize myself just settling into my heart and doing some deep breathing. And then once you've done that and you can just, you feel like you're settled in, grab your journal and write a question that you have for your higher self at the top of the journal. So you can say, thank you, higher self, for wise guidance, or thank you, higher self, for answering this question for the highest good of all. And then go ahead and just write the question that you have. I think it's powerful not to just write a yes or no question, but actually, write a question of, maybe it's a question about I'm just going to make this up, a new offer that you're creating. So what do I need to know about the new offer I'm ready to create? That could be a way of asking the question. It doesn't matter. It could be about a relationship. Tell me about the relationship. Tell me about how to prepare for something. I mean, there's literally no question you cannot ask your higher self. And then what I invite you to do is put pen to paper and start writing. Okay, maybe set a timer for 5 minutes and don't stop writing until the timer goes off. Just write. And at first, when you first try this, it's like, but how do I know what I'm writing? Or like, where is this voice coming from? Just start writing. Even if you're writing the words like, I'm ready to receive higher guidance, I'm, looking forward to receiving higher guidance, it doesn't matter. Just write anything that comes out of the pen, but stay out of your head. Okay, so the point is, like, you're just sort of a clear channel and you're just gonna write until the answer starts to come through and you start to see whatever guidance is coming out of the pen and onto the page from your higher self. So you're giving yourself space. The reason we want to write for at least 5 minutes is you're just giving yourself space for the higher self to come through. I do this all the time, and I go back and I'll look at journals from like years ago and I'm like, oh wow, like I just love the wisdom I've received from my higher self. The guidance is so beautiful and I use it in my coaching. I use it to guide myself in my life, and there's wisdom I wouldn't have access to any other way. So let me know if you will take this on, download the guide. You could do this practice in just 5 minutes a day and see if it's for you. Again, this may or may not be for everyone. You may have another way that you prefer to listen to the voice of your higher self, but I invite you to at least try it, and try it more than once and just see how it feels for you. Trust your own guidance and know that like just by inviting in this practice, the way forward for you will open up. So I hope you guys like this today. I actually took the content for this video today in this podcast from one of what we call an expansion party. It's a Zoom session that I did inside of our membership community in the Boost membership. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. So the Boost community is such a special place in my heart. It's something that we offer here at Rise Leadership Circle, which is for soulful entrepreneurs who really want to create some incredible results in their life with a community of support and one-on-one coaching. And this is really a space for you to kick self-sabotage to the curb, for you to do that inner work that supports you, the human, behind the business or behind the way that you're leading in your life. So we offer one-on-one coaching. The thing I'm so proud of is you will get, it's a year-long commitment to join our community. You'll get one-on-one coaching twice a month, private coaching twice a month inside of this container, in addition to weekly Zoom sessions where you get to connect with other community members, where you'll be led by Kayla and I in topics like this. We go deep on money expansion inside of Boost. You'll meet some of your business best friends inside of this community. You get daily pocket coaching. It's a short 1 to 3 minute message from Kayla or I that comes straight to your text message if you want to receive that. And seriously, so much more, you guys, for the fraction of a cost of hiring a one-on-one coach. The support inside of this community is so deep, and it just keeps getting better. Now is the time. If this speaks to you, make sure that you reach out to us and let us know. You can find more information on our website. I will drop the link below as well if you want to check it out. Okay, you guys, I hope that you loved today's podcast. If you want more like this, let me know. Let me know if there are topics that you want to hear. And if you enjoyed today and you know someone in your life who needs to hear this, please share this with them. Please share and help them get in touch with their higher self. Please be sure to like and subscribe as well. And we're always excited to hear more feedback from you all as we continue to build out this journey. All right, thank you so much for being here today. I will see you next time.